twice. So I thought he passed me by. He circled back and came back this way. Remember I told you there was an old man in a blue car. This is a JCT7260 blue car. Remember I told you there was an old man in that blue car. And how since I've been living in Valdosta, he's always like followed me when I walk down the street, right? And I basically, before I really started trying to go hard or promoting like the art of good, basically I would just ignore him, right? I would ignore him. I would not say anything to him. I would ignore him because this is somebody in the car yelling at me. That's not the type of interactions or communications I had. The last time I took the opportunity to say, hey, do you know how to fix bicycles? He says, yes, right? He says, yes. And then, yeah. And then I said, okay, that's fine. And he says, when do you want me to do it? I can do it today. And I said, I don't know. I'll have to when I get settled. Just give me your number. When I get settled, I'll get that all taken care of. And I'm posting this too. If I get a chance, I'm posting all this on my website. I'm so sick. Sick of when I get a chance, right? And so just like everybody that I speak to, I always ask, hey, how you doing? I always ask, you know, how are you? What type of work do you do? Age. And he told me that he was retired, but then he said it was only 55. That didn't make sense. And then basically what he was using it as an end to try to, get in contact with me. And I think there's like a whole series of old men in Valdosta that, you know, they do that kind of thing. And so that's one of the dangers that I had too about trying to promote, because what'll end up happening, see, here he is again, look, this is right here, JCT 7260. And see, this is where a police officer needs to be called. And so what ends up happening, he's just following me in circles, just following me. So what needs to happen, this is him right here, JCT 7260. This man is following me, following me for blocks. So yeah, so now he's following me, and this is where the police needs to be called. And this is the situation that um, if I don't call the police, that this will continue on and continue to escalate, right? And if this continues on and continues to escalate, what'll end up happening is, being that I'm a person in a quote unquote homeless status, that it will somehow be flipped so that it will be perceived a certain way with me. But no. So this is what ends up happening. So, like I said, he said that he would do the bicycle thing or whatever. And I said, fine. And then when I talked to him on the phone and I said, hey, I've come to a point or situation where, yeah, I'm ready, I can do that. And then he says, oh, I'm just going to take it over to this Adam's place, right? And I was like, no, there's a bad situation there. That's why I asked you, if you knew how to repair bicycles, right? And then what he says is, yeah, I know how to repair. And I said, because there's a situation. If you don't, then just say you don't. He says he do. I had him meet me at the storage units. That's where the bicycle was. And again, it's somewhere that's neutral. And so I asked him, I said, do you need me to bring, hey, how you doing? Good morning. Do you need me to bring my toolbox? He says, no, he has all the tools he needs. I said, okay. And I said, are you sure? Because what I used was just like the little ratchet wrench and a little pliers, right? So then this guy is really following. This is like, so I've already counted 1, 2, 3. Is this time number 4? No, that's a different person. But it was at least 3 times. So, hey, I want to tell you that I know what you was doing the other day. You didn't want none of that food or nothing. You knew that I needed company, and you were just keeping me company. Is that what was happening for real? You don't remember? Well, okay. But anyways, hey. So I came across a girl the other day. I told you somebody gave me some shrimp fried rice. And so I have to be careful in all the situations. And they offered it to me. I offered it to her, and so she probably didn't really need it, but she was keeping me company. And maybe that wasn't the intention at all. Maybe she was just out of it. But I appreciated that. But I don't think she remembered it. So last time she spoke to me, she said she did remember. But anyhow, yeah. So with this guy, again, manipulation, service versus manipulation. This guy has been following me the whole time in, in Valdosta. And this is another thing. Like, this girl is walking down the street. The street that I'm walking on has a lot of prostitution and things like that. But it's the street that leads to services. Of course, it's always like that, right? And so, a truck goes by and it waves, the girl waves back. And that makes it look like, whatever. It may or may not be true. But, it's quite a common thing. So I'm just running into so much snares. So back to this guy again. So he comes and he's trying to, fix the bike. And not only does he's not able to physically because he's not 55, he's like 100. And so he can't really grip the things. And I'm just like, okay, oh, she's already here now, whatever. And so then, he doesn't have the tools. What he has is a tackle box. And I said, I thought you said you had tools. He says, oh, I can use this. And I was like, why didn't you just tell me you needed tools? Because I had tools. I could have brought them with me, you know. So long story short, this is on the 4th of July. Long story short, what ends up happening is he's back and forth. Hey, thank you for the compliment.
They ain't giving out nothing.
They're not giving out nothing?
Not on Monday.
I'm trying to go to the Department of Labor and see if I could find a little job or something.
All right.
Yep, yes, ma'am. Well, it's good to see you. I love you. You too. So, I think she's assuming that I'm going over. There's like a place where they give out stuff. Well, it's like the homeless place. But it's like I said, everything's on the way. So I need to really, advertise and voice that because with, those types of people, again, the manipulation, um, but will I ever have time to do it? It's the same thing as employment. And I guess if you look at this, even though I'm not getting paid, but I eventually will hope to, be able to get an income from this. And I am looking for viable real income. But, these are things that need to be put out there that are not talked about, So, yeah. And then with me actually trying to do something and put something together, I'm using all of my real information. I always do, right? But with that realness, I need to also have the realness of telling the stories that happen. And so, yeah, so I think what was in that paper, I think the reality of what this situation is it's a fresh old man, and he saw that he didn't take me seriously about me being about my business and doing what I'm doing. And I didn't really know who or what it was. All I said was, if you could fix a bike. And then when I started to communicate with him, I saw that as a human being, he didn't take me seriously as a human being. He was there just to be in my presence, asking me to dinner, this, and the other. And I'm like, no, that's not what I do, And, what I was realizing was in the interaction of going back and forth with, with trying to quote unquote, offering his quote unquote services to fix the bike, he came out and, he now keep in mind I had to walk like a couple of miles to get to the storage place. He said, okay, I'll be there in 30 minutes, in an hour, whatever. And I think what was happening, I didn't realize, was that, and that's why he was saying doing it today, because then he could be missing from, this is just background information that I shouldn't even be part of or privy to. Like I said, I was supporting my business. I said, this is what I use as my primary source. If you know how to do that, that's fine. Since you're reaching out to me and trying to communicate me, basically hitting on me on the street, right? So yeah. So it was back and forth a lot, and I think it started to dawn on me that what's happening is that the reason he wanted to do this on this date was because it was a holiday. He would have excuses to go in and out and be separate from family. Again, this should not have anything to do with me. Because strictly professional. So, but he's taking the time to. It's like me saying, me going to a business and saying, oh yeah, I can volunteer to do this, but then I really can't volunteer to do that. But actually, I have another whole job that I'm supposed to be working at the job that I'm getting paid for. But I've registered to volunteer to do this service, right? And in the registration of volunteering to do the service now, so I'm scared to.
I'm the one from church.
What church?
Seventh Day Adventist Church. You was at speaking.
Okay.
Wait,
I
how
want
far you
to, but
going?
I'm so scared because I just had a situation. Can I give you my number and we can get to know? I want to share with you my situation so you know why I'm acting weird about it. Okay? Is that all right?
Okay.
And thank you for offering. I appreciate
Okay,
that.
what's your number?
229 444
444
1007.
1007. Your name?
My name is Maria Willoughby. And if you text me hi, I'll text you my full name. And thank you. I'm going to the Department of Labor. That's where I'm going. But yeah.
I'm going to the Stamp Office too.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, I'll see you. We'll talk. Okay. You see? And this is what it makes it scary and uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? Because this is somebody now I remember him from church. I remember the situation. I don't remember the faces, but I'm scared to get in his car. I'm scared to get in his car because and I didn't get into the other guy's car either. I gave him my information. This is what I needed. And I'm thinking, okay, if this is what I need, then that, and this is guy, now I'm looking behind me every 5 seconds to see if this guy's following me. If this is what I need, then that's what they're gonna do, and that's it. And then my goal is to post it on my website and have something positive to post. you know but no, it didn't work out that way. This guy was looking at me as an easy target. And so I think he was thinking that I was possibly living out of the storage unit or something. And so he was thinking that I didn't have anything to do but sit at the storage unit all day long, which is not the case. It took me an hour to walk there, and I set aside an hour for him to do whatever he was going to do with the bike that he said that he could do, which he didn't do. He was back and forth, and then he intentionally left. At the last time I said, well, I waited for you for X amount of time. This time I'm leaving the storage unit, and then he and then he intentionally had left that tackle box or whatever so that it would be something for him to have to reach out to me about. Right now, that's not my priority. My priority is my job, and that's getting my job. My priority is to support my business, and my priority is to keep a roof over my head. It has, you offered your assistance under false pretenses. I don't want to be in the street talking about that, though. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not sure. And like I said, with the police and things like that, even the situation where the person took my pump, you know, depending on what they perceive. If I have any more cars stop, I'm gonna have a heart attack. But what they perceive what they perceive your status to be. And I'm gonna report on the police too. It's just so much. I don't know if I'll be able to do it all. And then, as you guys know, I am technically homeless, but because that person probably just wants to dot their T's and I's, which I can't, and dot their I's and cross their T's. I can't blame them for it. They're gonna probably, I'm under the reality of possibly having a formal um, legal thing in association with that. But I don't have anything to tell them. Nothing's changed. I don't have a job, and I told them already that, originally it was the 29th was the pay if I had taken that job. Oh, here's Union Cathedral. How about that? That's the church that stopped by the other day. So that's interesting. But yeah, but this church that this guy said he's a part of, they're a real, real, real church. Um, because when I was looking for that women's ministry, I got it there. But all these things, I need to talk about and I need to put out. But this is a job, like I said, even though it's not paid right now, it's a job like any other job where, um, there are going to be issues and there are going to be things that you need to manage. But if you don't manage them appropriately, you're going to fail and put yourself into arrears, whether it be financially, mentally, all of that. So, this is what God is trying to teach me on this journey too. That because this is the first time, like I said, I've actually canvassed, the past few months for the art of good. I was doing everything online, you know, but when actively canvassing, there's some definite traps, that are involved with it, you know. So I definitely, um, you know, definitely need to make sure that, I address those things, right? So, yeah, all of those. But that's scary, to have someone to offer to do something and then put you put you in a situation because they're trying to keep, contact or communication and being misleading with it, Then, like I said, if you're seen as a street person, your time is not being valued. So, um, but the learning experience is this, that in the future, if anybody offers to help, just like the ride and things like that, is all going to go to the business, And I haven't addressed that lady too. I don't like that she forced me to take that ride. Pretty much, I don't like that. So, yeah, I'm not getting in anybody's car, but so, and that's not something that any other woman should want you to readily be willing to do, you know. I remember living in Florida. Church people murdered people in church vans. You know, they had
Right on East Central Avenue.
had an old man that and this guy, and the story in the news was one thing, but I met a real life person. His sister or somebody was the pastor of the church. I was trying to catch the bus. The buses had stopped running. The bus stop happened to be right in front of this church, right? The bus stop happened to be right in front of this church. And so I saw the church van in the back and the man sitting there. And I asked him, could I give him a couple dollars to take me home? Because the buses had stopped running. And I lived literally straight up the same street. And I gave it to him, but I thought it was so weird. Instead of taking me home, he dropped me off at a strip club across the street, which makes it look bad because if somebody's looking, they think that I'm with this strip club, which I'm not, you know. And and that's probably intention because if he wanted to do something bad, he knows that if you are dropped off at a place like that, that that's what the intention is going to be. And then, like I said, a couple of different situations, but that's scary because now, as you can see, because he chased me down and was following me, that shows that now he's comfortable doing this and he feels like he may have an up in doing this, right? And then immediately after, you know, this guy comes with his truck and he, I don't recognize faces, but I was at that church that he was talking about. So, and he did remember a certain instance, right? Um, But I think they may have a Zoom meeting tonight. I got to get back to 1. They may have a Zoom meeting tonight, and I'll address that too. Um, yeah, but that's a scary situation. You know, and I'm gonna go back and review this video and write down the license plate. But I mean, what scares me, what in the world is going on? Speaking of what in the world is going on, I had a what in the world is going on situation yesterday too, where again, the church I went to, the Cypress one in the morning was really good, right? Um,
Turn right onto East Hill Avenue.
but they had a thing. You know how they always try to get your information to put somewhere, and I was ushered up to this welcoming board after because I was there early because the website they said they started at 8, they did not. But just in short, I guess the reality of this journey is that things are teaching me, make sure that the stuff on your website is accurate, because if not, if somebody's actually looking for you to be at a certain a place or event and you're not there, that's a disappointment. You don't know, if they walked 10 miles to get there. You don't know if, because they were invested in getting to know your company or your group, you don't know if they actually, you don't know if they actually, our worth you setting aside. If you're not going to be there and you maneuver and manipulate and maneuver all these things around, then, that's a problem. So, but yeah, I can't wait to give back. I mean, it's just like it's so much. God, I'm thankful that God has put this type of situation in front of me. And the reason that I say I'm thankful for that is because um, the reason that I say that I'm thankful for that is because the employment situation. It all comes together with um, with the employment. I had an issue where basically I was being treated unduly, because people can, and the way that it was done was so harsh that I couldn't come back from it. It was like if somebody tells, and this is how the legal system works too. What they'll do is they'll tell, like, there may be one thing that's adjacent and it may not even be true in itself, but in order to make sure that something sticks, they'll throw 30 things. And so that's kind of what happened in that particular situation, right? um, so yeah. So what do I do again if that guy follows me
Turn
again?
right
I
onto
don't
East
I don't
Taylor
know.
Avenue.
I don't know. I don't, sir, I don't have any, I don't know you and you don't know me. I like to keep it that way, period. Or what's the other version of that? The other version would be, you know, that's it, because it just makes it clear that you don't know that person. I don't have any business with you. You don't have any with me, and I'd like to keep it that way, and just keep on moving. You know. So yeah, that's disturbing because again, I talk about muted members of the community. I'm muted because I don't have any recourse. I'm not a bad. I haven't done anything wrong or bad, but I already know from experience of me trying to sell that pool, the guy taking my air pump, using my pool, and then saying, "Oh, I'm just gonna try it out." And then he come back, and then it was clearly nothing was wrong with it. He was actually playing in the pool. I have pictures of it, and then try to disappear. And then so I went to take my pool back, and I'm just like, "Where's the air pump?" And then they had it, but then the guy just left without saying anything. And I was like, "Where are they going? Are they getting the money for the pool, or what's the deal?" And then I finally said, "I have no idea what's going on. If he's not purchasing it, please, give me back my pool pump." And then they were like, "Oh, he'll be back in 25 minutes." And then they were trying to put the insinuation, "Oh, he's taking this pregnant woman to work." So it's just, I don't know, it's really weird. But so that's something I feel like I definitely do have to report that. Um, yeah, I think I am going to report it. See, this is what I mean. I don't have time for that. And then that's giving the law enforcement business. I don't want to give them any business. They're not good. They're not good. But also for my protection, you know. And then the fact that I'm walking on that street, which is a street for prostitution, but that's the direct street. I take the direct route to go where I'm going. And I kind of like being in the midst of people. So, and then maybe I should just stop and curse them out. But but I don't want, that's not the energy that I want. And then I really look like a street person because I'm walking, that person's driving, my hair,
Turn
and
left
so
onto
it's
Southeast
not gonna
Street.
look good for me either way. So yeah. But I know what I need to do. I have to address it. But there's so many things that are unaddressed, even with the employment situation, unaddressed and current. You know, and like I said, I guess God is making it so I don't have any choice but to, fight back because I see how it's kind of working. It's all going to come to a head right here in Valdosta. And I'm going to have situations where, like I said, me trying to promote that, people trying to take advantage, you know, um, harassing, things like that. Um, and then with the employment issue, there is an issue. And then with the residential issue, there's an issue, So I'm going to have to learn to fight. I don't know
Turn
how to
right.
fight. I'm going to have to learn to. So I think I'm where I'm supposed to be. I'm not sure. I think I am. Look at that.